Y'all, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us in the flute breakout room. Yeah, Caitlin and Liz. Okay, Liz can hear us. Caitlin, can you hear us? All right, sweet. So I'm going to be available to do chat stuff, but I'm going to let Heidi take things over. This is Heidi Dodd, Kearney Middle School band director and flutist extraordinaire. So she's going to work us through beginning flute stuff. So Heidi, take it away.
Okay, good morning. And you guys on Zoom, if you've got any questions, pop in and I'll let Mike read those so that I don't have to monitor that.
Definitely.
I'm not very good at this. Okay, so I'm going to start just like I would with beginning flutes and kind of go through the testing process and then some stuff that way. So if you guys haven't seen this, this is called a Numa Pro, and I imagine Mike can get these.
Yeah.
I did not
Great.
start using these until 3 years ago, and it has been a lifesaver in text in.
Permission to record. You need permission to record.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Why does he not have permission to record? Sorry, guys. Give me just a second.
Oh, technology.
Yay, technology. So if I go back to the main, I'm going to go to this one.
Retired this year.
Participants,
I think you
Kent,
just retired
more.
Okay.
this past year.
Okay, you should have the power to record now, Kent.
Should I shut that door, or is it?
It'll probably be fine.
Okay.
And if it gets loud, I'll.
Yeah, we're.
Okay, people, we're
Okay.
back. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, so this is called a Numa Pro, and great for testing, also great for if you have a kid that's having trouble playing and getting a sound. This is a really good thing to practice on. So you can use a simple or any kind of coin, and you can put it up there, and then when they blow. See, I can't even. That was great. You want to balance that without turning in, because a common problem is rolling in. So that helps that. And when you're testing, you want somebody to hit these bottom two fans. You don't want, if they're spread all the way out to all the fans, like, so I can do it wrong, then they're too wide open and the area isn't focused. So great thing just because it's visual. And so I'll use that to start with testing, and I'll do this first, and then I'll go just to the head joint. And then also if I have a kid that has trouble making a sound later on, I'll take this and send it home with them and give them that for a few days to do that. How are you gonna try it? Do it the quarter or not the quarter? Okay, I don't like the quarter either. What? What? Right? Try and blow the bottom fan. Yes, you can. There you go. A little harder. More. Don't look at it. You can't look at it. You had it until you looked at it. You're good. You're nervous. There you go. There you go. So, and that's a common problem with flute, is trying to look at things. You want to make sure that their chins are up. And that's why I'll usually hold this or hold the head joint, just to try and keep heads up as we're testing. Because everybody wants to look at things. And I think that's one of the things that makes flute hard, is that you can't see anything you're doing. It's all out here. It's here. And so getting them used to that feel is different. Okay, so after we do that, we do the head joint. If you guys want to grab the head joints up. What instrument do you play?
I'm a trumpet player.
Okay. Trumpet and, I think trumpet and flute are the two most
Oboe.
opposite.
Oh,
I'm sending me the Nemo Pro and I'll show that to people on Zoom.
Yeah, damn.
I love these things.
Yeah.
So great.
I cannot play trumpet to save my life. It's like, it is the only instrument that I cannot pick it up and demonstrate for my kids because my sound is terrible.
Well, they are opposite. It's like go higher on flute, you gotta push your lips forward a little bit. And then
Yes.
go higher on trumpet, you pull back.
Yes, and just with the tension, it just, and I shouldn't say tension, but just. Anyway, okay, so there are a couple of schools of thoughts on this, on getting a sound on the head joint. Some people will center on their lips and roll down. One of the problems that that can cause is you get too low, and you also don't want the kids to have to do that every time they start playing. So when I start testing, I usually will hold this for the kids first, and have them try and get a sound. I do not cover the end. Some people cover the end. It's easier to make a sound, and you're not moving the air like you would. Now, if somebody has a lot of trouble, I might have them try that to start and then take their hand off. So you're, when you're doing this, you want to be able to see the embouchure hole. So one of the common problems to make a sound initially is that people will roll in too far. And then you're going to be out of tune forever, and you're going to have trouble finding it. So you want to make sure that you can see that embouchure hole. A lot of times I'll take them to the bathroom and show them exactly what they should be able to see, and look in a mirror so that when they go home, then they can do that. And then I put my finger in front of them and say, "Go up my finger." You want one of the things I say a lot is look up, look down, because you want to keep that head up and that chin up. And so that's, if there's probably not a day of teaching that I don't say that. So
Slow down.
look up, look down, and just try and get them to make a sound. So you guys want to try that? Can you guys all play? Have you all played flute before? Okay, okay,
Flute's my worst instrument.
okay, go ahead and try that. Good. Now, can I make you do it one at a time, second and third, so everybody? Okay, let's, no? Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can do it. I think you were getting it. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you. You're blowing right, go. Good, now you guys come over here. I'm gonna use my guinea pig, sorry.
Okay. No, I'm.
Okay, do that again. So see how, this is another thing you want to look for, her airstream, and you guys on Zoom, you can see on the embouchure plate where the airstream comes out, and her airstream is like this. You want it to be a V. Okay, so try and come right in.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and so that's just kind of more about chords in and just doing it. Jamie, I'm gonna come back to you now.
Oh, so I'm just going. Oh, my gosh.
I know, sorry. You're gonna pick on me later.
No, it's fine. All right.
Okay.
All right. Spot.
So you're playing the same way. So
So I'm like tight cornered.
I know, there you go. Look at that. Yeah, so
I
all,
always help doing clarinet things.
Right, right.
My corners like that.
right.
Probably do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the only difference that I just say with both of you guys was head up and pushing that air towards the middle. Okay, so that's all it is. Okay. And I didn't talk about how I get them to, sometimes I'm gonna backtrack because I'm not very organized, sorry.
Yeah,
So
it's great.
when I put the flute up to their mouth, I will tell them just to keep their mouth closed. And some of them will go, some make stupid face, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Well, and then of course you get the laughing. And then the only all you do to make the sound is blow. And the air causes your lips to come open. So you don't have to think about, there's none of that create a small hole stuff that sometimes you hear, because that's gonna cause you to be tight and not keep it sound. So if you just blow, it's gonna create that embouchure. It's really pretty simple, okay? All right, let me see, I'm gonna look at, okay, so assembly. And I'm not going through the open the cases and all that stuff. You guys know that. So one of the things, 3 pieces, head, body, foot, head joint, body, foot. I usually start with the body and the foot. One of the things that you want to teach them right off the bat is not to grab like this because they're going to bend rods. So and it's kind of awkward to hold, but I'll hold it like this. And you may grab a little bit, but as kids, they're going to grab and squeeze. I put the foot on first, and the foot you can grab at the very bottom, and you just gently twist. One of the things I want to show you that a lot of people do wrong. This foot joint should be lined up halfway up the keys, and you'll see a lot of kids that'll do this. Okay, just because it looks like the rods should be lined up, but they're not. And that you can adjust it. It doesn't have to be exactly halfway, but the whole point of that is where you can maneuver these pinky keys. So, and as they get to where they're doing like the high school all-state stuff right now, has got D flats, E flats, C's on it where you have to do this. And so they may have to adjust that just a little bit to where they can maneuver those things. But that's the reason for placement on that. Then the head joint does not get pushed all the way in. Usually it's about a quarter of the way out. And you want to teach them that to start just so that they're closer on pitch. And the embouchure hole should be centered down the keys. And one thing you want to watch then is that they're not rolling clear. Because again, it's easier to make a sound, but it's going to be out of tune. And it's not going to be good sound. Okay. So hand position, this is a tricky one. This is probably my nemesis. Because you can teach them everything from the start, but if you don't enforce it daily, they end up with bad hand position, and then you send them to 8th grade and Jamie has to fix it. And that's what happens. Okay, so left hand, trying to think how to explain this. The knuckle on your index finger is going to rest, is going to be placed against your flute between these first 2 keys. And then it's just going to wrap. So I don't know if you guys can. You don't want to tuck them, so you want to watch and make sure they're just sitting there. And I talk to the kids a lot about you want your fingers as close to the keys all the time without pressing, so that you don't see this. Which then when I'm showing fingerings is really hard because I'll go, this is an F, and I'll do exactly what we're not supposed to do. But that's part of it. So just kind of watch those pinkies so that they're sitting there. Okay? All right. Oh, I know what I was going to say. There are a couple of things that kids usually have problems with. This having contact with this index finger sometimes is a challenge, and this thumb. Those are the two big things. A couple little cheaters, well, not really cheater things, but things that help. There's this thing called a bow keep, and I have one, but I can't find it. But it's a thumb guide that goes right here. It's like a little saddle, and they can put their thumb in that, and that will help keep them there. One of the things I don't like about the bow keep, first of all, it's like $15, I think, for a little tiny piece of plastic, but it slides, And so it can get moved to the wrong place and then they don't really realize it. It also will trip up this key where the spring won't work. So that's one of the downfalls of that. Another good one that I've seen used a lot is the a corn pad, which just get at CVS, and you can, and those, it doesn't leave any residue, but you can put that right here, it sticks. You can also put it right here on this top part, so that's where they remember making contact. So those are, and that's cheap to do. So I would almost encourage that over doing the repeat. So, okay, questions on that? You guys need to talk. I'm gonna run out of things to say, which doesn't happen very often.
Heidi, do you teach balance points when you're trying to hold the flute? I was felt like that was my hardest things with.
Yeah, if they ask about it, I do, because technically you should be able to balance a flute with this finger. That's a good, thank you, Mike. With this finger against your base and your pinky and your thumb. Okay, so if I put my hands up where I don't want it, that's where your balance is. It's not in these keys. This right here is all for technique. Okay, so thank you. That's
Because they'll start to roll otherwise, right? They'll start to
Yes.
grip them and do weird things.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, tonguing. So yeah. Let's go back to our head joints only. We have just doing it all. My goal initially is that they're getting good sound and they're using their air. Okay. Once that starts happening, then we'll start talking about tonguing. And so like even if I'm doing a whole note, I might do a whole note, but it doesn't necessarily start with the tongue. It's just, and actually usually to start, I don't do a whole note, I just do a long note. Then we'll go to whole notes. Once they're there, then we'll start talking about tonguing and we'll do quarter notes. And all you have to do for that is you're just gonna say two. It's quick, it's not heavy. One of the things you're gonna hear a lot, especially on flute, I think flute more than any other instrument. Yes, and so once they do, if they do that, I'll come back and I'll say, okay, I want you to play a long note, but then I want you to say 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 as fast as you can. Just to try and get them using their tongue and understanding that that air is still continuing while they're using their tongue. Okay, so you guys want to try that? Oh, you try it on your own, and I'm going to have you do it one at a time. Just four quarter notes. I don't know how the trumpet player here has the best sound of anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that. Sorry, no offense. Good. Try and lift your head up a little bit more.
Yeah, I tell kids this every day.
I know.
She's really glad people are watching. Okay, here we go. My sister's an all-state flute player. Let's just all say that.
There. See, stand by you, and then it hurt the pressure, doesn't it? We should have called it urine and had
We should have
watched
called
this.
this.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, can't play anymore. Okay, so go back to a long note first. Just do a long note. Now, bring it, you're kind of like this.
Okay.
I want you to bring that up a little bit. Good, and head up. That's it. That's it. So when somebody has trouble, back it up. Just back it up. That's all you have to do. And then it starts to come on and come better together. Okay, good, you guys. Okay, where am I at? Okay, so My typical sequence, and I know I'm gonna go back to some fingering things, and then I'll let you guys ask questions. And then I'm gonna be done before I'm supposed to be done. Sorry. My typical sequence, and this is on that second page of that handout.
Did you figure out to go down?
I think
Yeah.
so. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You said when you were at Savannah, you taught like instrument
Thank you,
classes.
like instruments, thank you.
Mhm.
So, we're in similar instruments. Chris does the brass and percussion. I've got the woodwinds. And so that helps that I've only got 3 or 4 instruments, sometimes 5. I think there's only been 1 year that we started this year. But that helps a lot. So typical sequence is instrument testing, and we just take our first 2 weeks. We do testing. Now, I don't know, because of COVID, we have not tested the last 2 years. We've just let kids pick their instruments. Yeah, what about you?
Well, I'm new to my job, so they tested before.
They tested before?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I haven't found that our instrumentation has been that much different without testing. I do have a couple of flutes that shouldn't, I think flute is the weird one that I have to talk people out of if they can't make a sound and I can't get them to make a sound. And I have one kid still that after a year, this was something else I was gonna say, you gotta be patient with kids, because I think this takes longer to make a sound with than anything else does for some kids. And we have a girl that she went on to school as a music major and was a first-year all-state player, but did not make a sound until Christmas.
Wow,
Or her first year, yeah.
that's some patience right there.
Yeah, and I tried to talk her into switching instruments because I could tell how smart she was. She had her heart set on the flute, and it just popped. It came.
Wow.
So. To get the instrumentation we want, we send a letter home and give them about 10 days. We do a beginner night where we have the music companies come in and rent instruments, or we give them information where they can go and get stuff from the stores. We have a letter that goes out that says, please do not buy from Amazon. You know, and there's still a few that come in. There's absolutely a few. This one poor little boy this year